Hi everyone, thank you for being connected with Empower Sri Lankan Role Models. This page is created especially for the Sri Lankan teachers and parents to help them to become better role models for the future leaders of Sri Lanka. So today we have a vibrant personality with us, Miss Hasna Isbullah Islal, to share her thoughts about role modeling. She studied in Bishop's College and have been an amazing leader as a prefect, and she continues her leadership as a director and vice principal of Hijaz International School. She holds a master's degree in analytical chemistry and a postgraduate diploma in education from University of Colombo. And most importantly, she has 4 kids and she strives to be a role model as a teacher and as a parent every day. So, hi Hasna. So, tell us, what does role modeling mean to you?
If you ask me as a person who would be a role model to others, I would make sure that my words and my actions are consistent with each other, and I would stand up for something that I believe is right. Um, and also, I would set my standards very high for others to follow, and I would achieve those goals so that others also would be encouraged to achieve the same. So, I'm
Thank you. So, can you also say, like, who is your role model and why did you choose that specific person as your role model?
I don't have one person as a role model. At different stages in my life, I had to play diverse roles. I was a daughter, wife, a mother, uh, an employee, and an employer. So, at each and every stage of my life, I had different role models. If you want me to give you an examples, one of the first role models, especially when I started teaching, was my teachers, especially my maths teacher, Mrs. Scott, and my English teacher, Miss Joseph. Uh, the way they conducted themselves in school, how they dressed, and how they were disciplinarians, but they were not strict in the sense, what strict people think strict should be. So they came down to the level of the children. They took personal interest in the weak children and encouraged the good ones. So I always modeled myself, my teaching on the way they conducted themselves. And another role model when I'm working in my employment were my parents, because they were very hardworking people. My mother was very dedicated towards her students, and as a mother, she was very concerned about our studies and our health and all that. So there were so many things that I could emulate from her. Then, when it comes to conducting yourself with people, talking to them, even if they rub you on the wrong side, my husband would never lose his temper. So that was something that I learned from him. So those are my social circles that I was able to, if you say, copy or model on. But things like people like Steve Jobs, he about him I read a lot because when we are working with competitors, we have to be innovative, creative, think of new things to introduce into the school. So I look at his way of doing things. So those are a few of the role models for me.
Thank you very much. Wonderful role models you have. So, can you also tell us, like, why do you think it's important for the parents to be a role model for their kids?
First of all, parents are the first teachers, and home is the first school. Parents, if you tell me, it's not only parents, the elders in the child's home can be grandparents, caregivers, all the elders in the home. Because the child, when he's born without any social knowledge or skill. So the first people he comes into contact with is the elders in the house. So the behavior, the way the people talk in the house is reflected. The children are like our mirrors. When we as parents look at our children, that is ourselves are reflected on their behavior. So we have to, when we become parents, we have to put a check on our behavior, how we talk, how we conduct ourselves, and how we even move with other people. Because one thing, if you tell a child what to do, he'll never do. But if you show him, he will always do it. So it's very important that parents have to be very careful about how they conduct themselves.
Thank you so much. I too agree with you on that imitation. Kids imitate you rather than what you say, ask them to do. So, why do you think it's important for the teachers to be a role model for their students?
Teachers, now especially once the child is about 2.5 years, we send the child to the nursery. And from then onwards, the school journey starts. And there are some instances where sometimes the teacher's word is like the gospel truth for the child. He would not even if a parent points out a mistake that the teacher has made, the child will never want to accept it because teachers have started playing a huge role in that child's life. And sometimes the maths teacher does not only teach you fractions or doesn't teach you additions, she can teach you some social skills, life skills. One person I remember was my music teacher, Mrs. Lowe's. She not only taught me how to read my scores or play the piano, but she taught me how to talk and how to address a person. So those are things that as teachers they have a huge role to play. First of all, because the child is there with you uh, close to about 6 to 8 hours. So you can have a big impact as teachers on each and every child. Sometimes a teacher's influence can influence a child to choose a career path. A sports teacher can influence a child's career path or a hobby. So teachers play a big role when it comes to
Thank you
a child.
so much. So, the final question to you is how positively role modeling can reflect on the development of the future generation of Sri Lanka and the country as a whole? What's your thoughts about it?
Sri Lanka, when you look at the history of Sri Lanka, when I'll just go back on the time that we got independence, there were lots of countries who were trying to get independence from the colonial rule, but most of them they fought and there was a lot of bloodshed. But Sri Lanka, an educated class of people got together, hatched a plan, and they did it in a very civilized way. So now, when you look at the media, when you switch on the news, what do you see? Strikes somewhere, people shouting at Lipton Circus, hijacking buildings, and kidnapping people. No, this is not a good role model for our future generation. We have to have somebody like Lee Kuan Yew, the former Singaporean Prime Minister, without any racial or religious bias. We need leaders who would take Sri Lanka to the next level. So the political leaders have to be good role models for our future generation.
Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful thoughts. I'm sure this is going to tap someone's mind. It could be a parent or it could be a teacher, and they're going to transform. And I appreciate your time and looking forward to talk to you again. Thank you.
Thank you.